All right, so welcome everybody. Great to see you. Today, Anna Peacock, our education coordinator here at the University of Wisconsin, is going to share some screens and walk through some of the things that we actually do to help promote our residency program and sort of sell ourselves to medical students and to prospective residents. And then afterward, we can just have a discussion. People can share things that they have, ideas that they might have, best practices that they might have, or we can just have a discussion and ask questions. So I will turn it over to Anna.
Thanks, Steve. This is very informal. So we'll read those.
Does she sound funny for everyone else?
Hold on, let me switch it.
How about now?
Good.
There you go. Now you're better.
There's too many microphone options and I never know which one to pick.
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay, let me share. Okay. Can everyone see?
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
This is our Twitter page. I primarily manage this page. We started it back in March of 22. Our university, I'm not sure if other universities have branding, and I'm sure you do, branding and licensing guidelines. So this little urology red W they made on campus, and that's kind of the standard of what they require us to use on official university Twitter pages. So that's where that came from, and I try to keep our little background photo updated. Usually we get a good group photo with one of our VPs that we have coming throughout the year. So I just try to keep it somewhat fresh. Otherwise I have old residents sitting on there. This little blurb I wrote here, I pulled, I think it's from our website, to be honest. Dee probably had it set on the website. And then I just linked our education page that has all the information about all of our programs and education at the university. We have a pretty decent following, I think, 236 followers. I feel like Meta Twitter is kind of a big thing lately, and a lot of students come here to look for it. And we get a lot of retweets and posts. So I just posted this yesterday. This was something we also have our main urology department has a page. Our oncology department has a page. And I think the peds people have a page too. They just don't really use it. So we'll repost each other's posts, and I think that, gets a bigger audience to go through a lot of more people. Our residents will post. This is one of our PGY2s. She posts a lot and tags us, so then it pops up on our page. Any big event we have, like I said, visiting professors, we post here. I posted our interview dates a couple of weeks ago, made a little graphic. I typically make the graphics just on like Publisher, something easy. It's not super hard to do. And like I said, our department posts a lot of like general stuff, and I'll just repost that just to get on people's feed. But this is kind of what ours looks like. When we were doing our open houses, I made this graphic and posted it a couple times, usually a couple weeks before and then the week before. I tag all these, we'll go through these, but all these residency pages that typically also repost us. And I think a lot of medical students follow those pages to get information. Urology Unbound is a really great group. I tend to repost what they have. They have lots of events for students to join. So yeah, any just big events or anything, we just try to post it on there. So the big Twitter page, controls, I gotta get out of here. The big Twitter page I feel like that a lot of people tag is this Euro residency page. They have a big following, like 6,500 followers, so that's a pretty good amount. And they pretty much repost all these different programs, open houses. So they're really good about, you tag them, they retweet it, and they advertise for you, which really makes my job easy, so I don't have to do so much. So you can see all the open houses here that they just repost. So they're really good about that. They actually have a website, which I stumbled upon a couple weeks ago, I feel like. That is also pretty robust. They have a list of programs. They have some calendars with all the interview dates, all the open houses, resources. They tag their Twitter here. I have emailed them twice, and to be honest, I haven't heard both back from them both times. So they have a list of the programs here. If your program is on here, that's great. I think this is really helpful for students when they're coming to look, if this is where they're looking. It has, how many residents per year, the program length, what kind of fellowships they have, and then they directly take your Twitter or your Instagram and their website. Ours was not on here, which is why I emailed them, and I don't think last time I looked, they still hadn't put it on here. So I don't know who manages, oh, there it is. Oh, nope, yeah, there we are. I don't know who manages this. If it's a student, I have no idea who runs this page, but no,
Not correct.
I did not put that.
Yeah, I think that's
I
a
know.
student website, you guys, because it's a GoDaddy website. It's not, yeah, it's not a,
I don't even know what this is. What is this? Yeah, I did not send them that
yeah.
info, so this is funny. Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
Things we didn't know we had.
See, the students, they get in there and they create their own stuff and they link all of this because that way they don't have to follow the school policy.
That's funny.
Yeah.
So I didn't know the Flickr existed. The Twitter page is right. This is this is not, I mean, we just got a compliment increase to 4. So this isn't entirely right. I guess I'll email them again. But it definitely has, whether or not it's right or not, they have a lot of the programs on here. So if you don't see your program on here, you could do what I do and try to email them and see what they say. This calendar on their website was also slightly helpful. If it's accurate, again, I don't know who's pulling this information, but I think they're getting it from the Twitter reposts. So when we had our open house, it was the end of August, ours was on here. Yeah. So ours was on here, and it actually had the link to register, which I had all over our social media. Excuse me. So I think this is a great place for students who are looking for open houses and residency interview days. I don't know if they had the interview days on here.
Yeah, I was gonna ask.
Oh,
if
yeah.
they had- Oh, yeah, they do. I
So
wonder if that
again,
pulls off of our Acure.
or the SAU, doesn't the SAU have a calendar?
Yeah, maybe that.
Yeah. Yeah, I have no idea. So like I said, I stumbled kind of upon this. They also had some away scholarship info. I asked for ours to be put on here as well. Let's see if they put it on here. I don't think they did. There's no right or wrong order on this. But if you have a diversity or away rotation scholarship, I think a lot of us do. They had this information on here, which I think is also helpful. Yeah, ours isn't on here. So I don't know what they did with my 2 emails I sent them. Resources, I don't know what they have for students here. This is some AUA stuff, some articles. I think this site was invented during COVID is my guess. And these 2021 virtual grand rounds was probably when everyone was remote. It has ours on here because we have a YouTube page with our grand rounds. So I think it just takes it there. So I don't know how often they're still updating this or not. But I think they're pretty present on Twitter. And if you tag them, they will repost you and get all their info on here. So that's kind of the big one that I usually make sure to tag in all of my recruitment stuff. The second big one is Inside the Match. They have tons of followers, but unlike your residency, this is just a broad for any specialty. So some of your stuff can kind of, get lost in here, and it's going to be ignored if it's not, specific to the student's interests. They're not going into urology, but they have tons of resources on here. And they repost a lot of stuff too. A lot of people post if they have openings here. They'll post these and they'll repost them. So they're another good one to tag. They have resources for students. Free resources, they do events, and they'll repost open houses as well. So they're the other big one. They also have a website. It's more of a general match website, so I don't really do anything on this one, but they do have a website. There's also something called the Urology Applicant, which is another urology specific page on Twitter. They will also just repost all your stuff. So I just blast tag all these guys in all my recruitment posts. And they'll send it out. And then the last one I sometimes tag and I sometimes don't is the EuroSoMe. You can tag them with the @ sign or you can hashtag them. I tend to hashtag them which then just pops up. What that means is when someone searches Eurosome, all the posts that were hashtag will pop up. If you directly tag them, they'll repost them, but they're not, I feel like, as active as the other urology two pages that Twitter has. So I just tend to hashtag them just because they don't really, it's mainly just this person. I don't even know who this is. They just mainly post on here. So there's not a whole lot of reposting going on this page. So I don't think this one's a very active and good page. So that's kind of the Twitter, the main ones. Anyone else have ones they use on Twitter besides these big ones? Or if you don't know about them, you don't know about them.
I've just been using the like the AAMC ERAS stuff.
Oh,
But,
okay.
yeah, and then now our Acure site. I just
Yes.
tagged us on my residency, not my school one, obviously, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't even know if I follow AMC and like ERA's stuff. I feel like that stuff can get a little, it's helpful, but it can get a little broad and overwhelming. And I
Just
don't
to
know.
have official stuff.
Yes, yes. Yeah. I just saw someone, yeah, we can send, I have a list of the handles I can send everyone. And then Instagram is, I feel like, less used for promoting like academic stuff and more for like cool program things, if that makes sense. They're harder to tag and like repost stuff than Twitter. So our Instagram, our residents actually pretty much run this. Like I set it all up again. We had to have this, you know, fancy little symbol here. I link our page here, but they got a lot more followers. I think they just are better at it. I'm not a huge Instagram person to begin with. So they do a lot of the posts, which is cool because they do like posts like these for our new interns, meet and greets, which I think are fun to read, and people enjoy them. So I let them kind of run that page, but I try to get on here and like I posted, these were our Subeyes we had. I post this to Twitter and I post it here. It just doesn't get like reposted and shared as much as it does on Twitter because Instagram doesn't work that way.
Okay, so Anna, if your residents are running that Insta, do they monitor it the same way they do your official page for the policies and procedures for social media?
I mean,
That's the big question because my residents are asking me and I'm like, you guys gotta, it's like a thin line.
It is. They really, really wanted the Instagram page. So they were
I
really
know.
pushing for social media. And so I told them, well, let me make it so like I can, obviously get in here and control it still. But I feel like they do a good job. Like there's nothing on here that I would say like, ooh, you probably shouldn't have done that. Like they post good stuff. So like they posted this, like I would have never got this. Like they did a little selfie and posted this. And I think that part is really cool for people to see like what happens that's not staged and, everyone get together and take a photo.
I
They
just don't
do
want to manage another one.
like I said, I don't really go in here that often. And I do the official stuff and then that's it. They do everything else. So we had an open house for our visiting students. So I blasted on here. The thing I hate about Instagram is you can't like put links that actually link in the text here. You always have
there's
to
no
say
hyperlinks.
Yeah. So you always have to say like link in bio, and then you have to go on your profile and change the main link in your bio, and it can only be one link at a time. So then I'm pulling off the main page, and if I'm have an open house registration, then that link is going in there to register, and then I have to remember after the open house is done to pull that off and put the main link back on. So that's why I don't like Instagram. And I don't feel like we have a lot of followers, but I feel like it doesn't reach as big of a medical student population as maybe Twitter does, just for the med ed stuff. But we had a cadaver lab, so this was pretty cool. And we got to post some pictures on there. So I think Instagram, it has its place. I think it's more the residents just want to post their lives and everyday things, which they can do. I did post this morning. I was having trouble. We just had a video that we launched from our PGY3, kind of did a why our program and what she likes about Wisconsin. It was like a 3-minute YouTube video. There's no way to link it on Instagram. I don't know how to link it. So what I did was I made a story. I'm not good at doing. And basically these stories, you can see the little bar running, they only last like a Snapchat thing, like it only lasts for a couple seconds. And this is just a photo clip of the video. I had to put the watch now link. So if someone wants to watch it, it's gonna go through quickly, but they can hit the watch now and then you can link it. Stories disappear in 24 hours. So it's gone after 24 hours, and then I don't know how else to get the link besides putting it on the bio link. So that's the downside to Instagram. That's why I let the residents kind of run it. If they were to post something that I thought was maybe inappropriate, I could just delete it. Honestly, when we started all these, we had these conversations of who should be managing them, what are the roles, who monitors these, and we never really got clear answers off of that. So maybe it's stricter at other universities, but I feel like it kind of was like, you can do whatever you want. Here are the guidelines. And then we just made
I
them.
think they also know that our chairman is pretty active on social media.
Yeah.
And he would probably catch wind of it pretty quickly if they were doing something inappropriate underneath our departmental or our program.
Like Donald Trump, you
like-
got to cut him
yeah.
off of Twitter.
Exactly. We'd cut him off.
And I don't even know if Dr. Nakata has an Instagram or if he knows we have an Instagram. He's really, really active on Twitter. And like I said, they don't really touch the Twitter page. It's mainly me doing stuff on there. I just think they don't like Twitter as much. They're in it for, the candid photos and
Can we
on
even call it
Instagram.
that anymore? Do we have to call it X now? mean,
I don't
it's called-
know.
what is it called? I mean, it's X, right?
The logo's X. I don't know if it's actually called
What do we
X.
call it? What is the official?
I
what
feel
is
like they
that?
still call it Twitter. I don't know.
Come on, who's the youngest person on here who's hip and knows what it is? What is it? All right, I'm gonna look it up then because I don't know. All I know is when it changed over, I had to redo all my notifications and all my everything in a release.
Yeah. Oh, Nicole, do you know what it is?
No, I don't know, but I had a question unrelated to what it's called. Would now
Sure.
be the question or?
Go right ahead.
Okay, my question is, for those of you that have Twitter, what email address do you have for your account? Like, do you use your personal work email address? Do you use, a more institutional address like urology at Wisconsin at, da-da-da-da?
That's a great question. And I feel like we asked that when we made these, and our media person was like, you can just use your personal work email address. Well, what if I leave?
Exactly.
Then it's tied to that. I think you may be able to change it in your account if you go into settings. But so I set them up under my personal work email address, and I made the passwords something somewhat easy. And then I sent them actually to the residents, so everyone had them, and that's how they log in, and that's how I can log in too. So they're using my credentials, but they can still get logged in and use the Instagram, and I can still do it too. So that's kind of what we decided to do. I think the smarter way probably would have been to do some institutional general email address like urology@wisc.edu and had it, but then someone has to manage that inbox, which is a different story. But I know they exist. I know in our institution, you can get them done. You just have to go through IT, and it's a little bit of a process. So that would probably be a better, smarter solution in the long run for turnover and all that stuff.
I know for when everyone was getting Zoom accounts back in 2020. So I don't know how many of you manage multiple programs, but I manage 3 different unrelated programs. And so for Zoom, and I'll have to probably do the same for social media, is I have generic email addresses for, urology residency at UVM. I have dental programs at uvm.org, and I have one for my other. And so anyway, and just like you said, I have to manage those inboxes in my email as well, but they're very minimal, super minimal, no maintenance basically. But anyway, that's the problem we had, is my chief resident who graduated, somehow the Twitter account got under his email address, And then he kept forgetting his password, and I've been hounding him for 2 years to get the
Oh my
information.
God.
It's a nightmare. Now he's graduated and gone, and now I'm like emailing Twitter, like, how do I shut this account down and reopen a new one? And it's just very drawn out. So definitely, like Anna said, be intentional when you set it up. And share the credentialing info.
And I guess the good news is if I were to leave, I probably could either shut down the accounts before I leave or transfer it versus a resident. It's the last thing on their mind. And like you said, you're just hounding them, and it's why would they care about giving you the Twitter password to a program they're no longer in? They don't necessarily care. It's very low on their priority. So yeah, that's one of the things we thought about. We definitely didn't want it under any residents' personal or work email. And our work emails for the residents, they get disabled like shortly after they graduate. Like I think within 24 hours. It's crazy.
Oh,
So
sooner than that, like
oh,
midnight,
boy.
the midnight of their last day. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yep.
they would lose all access, and then we really would be screwed. We'd have to delete and restart. So I'm sure it's like that at many other institutions as well. Well, that was my very informal, brief run through. Dee, do you want me to play the video we just launched since I have it up?
Or maybe show them our website, or people, if there's, yes, any questions people have or anything else you want to see. We have a really great communication specialist. We're really super fortunate to have her. And she was actually the one who really pushed to make this video. Got our resident involved in it, found a student to help her edit it. And I think she spent a heck of a lot of time on it. So we're pretty thrilled about it. I'm sure there are many of you who have awesome videos and better videos, because we have heard from our faculty, go check out so-and-so's website because their videos are amazing. But I think, having a homegrown person here who can help us with it is pretty great. So we do have, like Anna said, the new video with Dr. Davidson. But I'll let you just kind of show them, if you want, the website and some of the things we do, like this, where visiting students can go to find out more about our program, etc.
Our visiting, we realized our visiting student page is not very robust. It's pretty lame. We do a application that is linked to Google Forms now, which it's probably still open, to be honest, but probably should close it. So everyone can do their applications virtually. So this kind of, we linked the application there. Besides that, we had dates when they did the rollout of the standard dates last year. We had all those posted. I don't know about you guys, but we didn't really know what to do this year because they didn't do the standardized dates for the applications. And so we felt like we had to put a date, but we just take them on a rolling basis. So I know other people were approving Subeyes like way early in the spring, and I feel like we were a little late this year just because we didn't know what to do. And then it has the contact information. We do have a link to our diversity scholarship. And I tend to also post, I do blast our diversity scholarship over social media as we're trying to recruit Subeyes. I'll post when our applications open, and then our scholarships. They have all the information here. The application process for this is the same. We have a link that sends them to the form, and they can submit it there. So that's not our student view of this is not very great, but our resident part of it is much better. Nicole, do you have another question?
Does your program use VSLO?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So
I was going to ask that same question. Why do you have to
Same.
manage that page if you're using VSLO? Isn't that like redundant? Not to
well,
be rude.
no, so we want to approve whoever applies for a visiting sub-I rotation prior to them doing all of the VISALO stuff. So we don't want like 18 of them doing a VISALO thing, which opens really late at our school. I mean, really late. So it wouldn't give us any time to like be prepared for these students if that was the way that they applied. So they apply via this it's pretty short. They just send us a CV and fill out a couple fields. And then we just sit down with our committee here to decide who we're going to offer stuff to, and then tell them, you've been approved by the department. You will apply using VISALO when it opens months from now. So that's why we do it, really because of the timeline, and so that we have control over who we approve and when they come, essentially.
So it helps them out. You're just helping them out, like getting everything done earlier.
Yeah,
That's
I would
cool.
agree with that.
That's
I
nice.
reach out to everybody that applies on VISALO, and I go over their dates and I go over their application. Even if they withdrew for some other reason, I'll reach out to them and say, hey, do you need new dates, whatever. I find that that's the easiest way, to manage it. But these ideas are also very good.
When does your VISALO open? Is it fairly early?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think ours opened until the last week of April this year. Like, it was pretty late, and we had pretty much everyone set to go by then. I think if we would do that, it would just cause mass confusion in our institution, because these students are inquiring in like February about, sub-Is already. And if we tell them you just have to wait till end of April, beginning of May, they're going to have everything scheduled by then. So I think, like Dee said, this is just the way we have to do it to manage our sub-Is.
Yeah, plus our registrar was on medical leave, so it wasn't really being monitored well from their end. So somebody had to intervene, or I wasn't going to have any sub-Is.
Oh my God.
Yeah, see, that was our fear, Terry. Exactly that. Is if we left it and left them to apply using VISALO, they would all have gone, they would all have accepted something somewhere else because they had the opportunity to do it much sooner. So.
I see more hands.
Go ahead, either Susan or Nicole.
Nicole was first.
Thanks. How many of you actually help manage the VISALO process? Because the reason I ask that question is at our institution, it's the med school that handles that entirely, 100%. And I'm about to get a little more involved, only because we want to offer a scholarship and we wanted to tie it in with VISALO. But now, by listening to your presentation, I'm like, aha, I think we should do it similarly to you. But anyway, how many of you are involved with your VISALO process? A show of hands. I saw 2 hands. Susan, Terry. Oh, a few of you are not on screen, but and does that imply that the rest of you are just like me, where someone at the med school handles it and we're totally hands off? Okay, thank you.
Okay.
And I'm kind of off subject today too, since we started talking about this. Is that okay, Denise?
Yeah, no, this is on subject, 100% on subject.
Okay. So, I'm being still relatively new, less than a year. When we don't have sub-Is because of that program being so slow and the way they release dates, does that reflect poorly on us as a program if we don't have sub-Is? Because they do, like, I think it was Terry just said, you can't get them processed fast enough. They go through the system, they accept other, rotations by the time everything goes through the system, and we end up with nobody. What does that do for our program? Is that something that we should be concerned with?
I personally would be concerned with it. I mean, I was really, it might have been the second year in COVID, or the first year that they all came back, but I was really, really disappointed at the small number of people who applied here, especially when I hear in settings like this where people say we received 75 applications, and I'm like, what now? Yeah, I don't know how other programs would know if you didn't have a sub-I, or if you didn't have sub-Is.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm thinking like, looking at ECGME, or, I mean, of course, just how we're looked at by the general public and our future applicants, but like ACGME, is there any kind of impact that having sub-Is or not having sub-Is has on our program from our accrediting bodies?
No, I would say no. And anybody else can speak up at any time, please. I would say no to that.
No.
I would say it's more of, like, especially for us now, we newly have 4 positions that just started last year. So this will be our 2nd year. We want a robust number of visiting students because that's an additional number of students we would have to put on our match list, in addition to those that will have interview with us virtually, right? So it's really in our best interest to have a number of visiting students.
Okay.
And just to kind of show them, you know, what we offer and if we would be a good fit for them and vice versa. So I think it's super, super important for us anyway.
Okay. How many, I know Anna's got her hand up, so I just want to ask the people that are all here, how many of you guys take DO urology residents or VSLOs or sub-Is? If you guys are Terry, Nicole, anybody else?
I want us to so bad. I'm just going to leave it at that.
Okay. Thanks, guys.
We did for the first time this year take one. And I agree with Denise. I don't think there's any ACGME implication if you don't have visiting students. It's just an advantage to the program from an interview perspective. Like, it's basically a month-long interview to see if this is someone you would want in your program and if they would want you as well. But I just wanted to share regarding the VSLO system. There is a way for institutions to change application date windows by specialty, because like you shared, the dates of the institution weren't really the best for urology, and somehow the people that manage it went in the system and changed the dates for us so we could have applications come in earlier and actually stay later. So we have a faculty member that is assigned in charge of all of the visiting students, and he'll go in and review the applications as they come. So that might be worth asking if those dates can change and totally eliminate that whole extra process for you all.
I see Anna smiling because she's probably thinking the same thing I am, is that they would never do that here, right? Are you thinking that?
Yep. We would say something and they'd be like, you want us to do what?
Yeah.
We'll look into it, and then we won't hear back ever.
Did you have another question, Nicole?
I was just going to chime in about the DO question. So my old program director was a little more old school and kind of, basically there was a stigma around, he held this belief that there was kind of a stigma around DOs, that they weren't maybe competitive enough, I think was what he was thinking.
Yeah. And
so during recruitment, we would kind of, we didn't apply filters and filter out DO students, but he did not list them very highly. And so what I did is I said, you know, tell me, where did you get this stigma? How is this current? Do you have data to support this? Blah, 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 blah.
Show me the evidence-based research,
Show me
right?
the evidence. And so ultimately I came to this email group. I emailed our Acure listserv and said, who has experience admitting DOs as residents? Are they prepared? Do they pass their boards? Are they successful in your program? And I can't remember who responded, but the person I ended up having a phone conversation with, and I apologize if it's someone on this Zoom, was like, oh yes, they're successful, they're competitive, they pass their boards. We have had an excellent experience. They're well prepared when they graduate med school and start our program. And so I took that evidence to my PD and we changed our tune about it. Like, is every faculty member on board? I'm not sure, but I changed the one person's mind that it really mattered.
That's great.
Okay, do I want to go? So we went through the kind of sub-Is. Any other questions, comments on that? Sounds like everyone does a little bit differently, but maybe something was helpful. Our residency pages, I feel like, are a little more robust. We're also working on getting these videos. They're so old. We need new videos everywhere. It's a slow process. But everything is kind of linked here. We have, let's see if it'll load. Here we go. We tried to get some new photos. These were our chiefs from last year. That was in the main photo. I always, yeah, and a former resident who's now faculty, so that was pretty cool. I put our little flyer that we used on social media for interview dates on here. So if anyone comes here looking for stuff, they can see our interview dates right there. I see Sandra, that video just came out yesterday, but she's amazing. So it's already sitting here on our main webpage as well. And then we have all of our, information here, the info about ARIS. We also have a podcast that we have nothing to do with, to be honest. One of our faculty members runs it, and he interviews different people throughout the department. And so Jordan was one of our chiefs last year, and he interviewed her in a podcast. I actually have not listened to it yet. It's been on my list. Every time I see it.
It's excellent. It is absolutely excellent. Yep.
So I know he interviewed Dr. Nakata, our chairman, as well. So they post these, and I think this is kind of cool to have on our residency page as well. I think the more resident interviews you get, it just helps for students to see not just faculty members talking at them, but actual residents in the program talking about the program. And then we just have tons of resident life. The typical letter from the chair, letter from the PD. We actually have our whole residency training manual on here, which D updates every single year. I don't know if anyone actually reads this. I feel like it's 50 pages long. Let's see how long it actually is. You would probably know offhand how long it is.
Yeah, it's like 70 pages, I think.
Oh, you guys, I will tell you, it's
77.
absolutely fantastic because I benchmarked it to start my own. I want to tell you how wonderful it is.
Oh,
I'm building mine from yours.
That's great. I can't take any of the credit. I just update what was given to me when I came here.
Well, it's beautiful. It's really good. It's really thorough, and I'm using it. My APD and I are rewriting it together. So you guys did a great job, whoever did it, and keeps it updated.
So if you're looking for a long read, 77 pages, has tons of info about our program in here. And we tell our applicants that it's on here, if they want any information about the resident handbook. I don't even think our actual residents probably have read it.
No, I'm not sure they know it exists. Click on the resident life, because Sandra's this is kind of neat too, actually, what our communication specialist did here, where she's kind of taken some things from Twitter.
Yes, yeah. So this was one of the posts. This is Megan, one of our PGY2s. This was one of their posts they did on Instagram, like meet our, as an intern when she was, meet our interns, and they had info and kind of why she chose UW. So yeah, she pulled that, and then she pulled quotes from other ones too. So like these are all Instagram posts that they did. And obviously Sandra thought they were kosher enough to put on the website too. So like I said, they do a really good job of managing that. You have another question, Susan?
I was just going to ask you guys, you say you have a communication specialist. Did you guys get that budget? Is it like a full FTE? And what budget did it come out of? Like your GME fund? What did it come out of?
It's a department. So she's for the whole department.
And orthopedic surgery. We share her with orthopedic surgery.
And she's a full 1.0 FTE and shared with your departments?
Yep. We share a lot of our historically, I think it's kind of changing a little bit now, but like we share our IT services with ortho as well. When they branched off to be their own department, urology from surgery way back when, that's kind of how they were able to support each other, was sharing. So we share our financial, well, we now have a financial person ourselves, but I think she's technically still employed by both. I don't know how it works.
I would love somebody like that. That would just be so awesome.
It's been great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
anytime we want an update on the website, I just like send her like the interview date little picture and say, hey, can you throw this on the website? And within like 30 minutes, she's like, okay, it's up. And then I look at it and it looks great. So yeah, she does a lot of this. And she does a good job of it. And she's trying to kind of revamp and give our website a fresh new look. Is there anything else that she updated here, Dee? That's
I don't,
relevant.
I mean, she put new
Mm.
pictures and she kind of cleaned it up,
Yeah.
but I thought that one was kind of good compared to what was, I mean, this even, yeah, for many years, this was a pretty stale website.
We do try to, hopefully this works, the match timeline on here linking, yep. So the prospective students know all the timelines. Yeah, and then this just must link to our team page. Yep. We have a team page that has all of our residents listed. I'm sure everyone has this. Photos, years, where they came from. And then these employment benefits and the graduate medical education link to the GME office. This is a school, but this is not, is this right? This is not right, is it? Oh, it is. Okay. It looks like it was a weird website. So they can see our stipend rates here, and then they can see their benefits. They just outlink to those websites, so we don't really manage that part of it. What else do we have on here? That's good. The rest of our videos we house in YouTube. I think that pulled up earlier. So grand rounds, if we record grand rounds, they get linked to YouTube so everyone can find our videos on there. And I don't think this just links to our conference page. Thanks, Nicole. I don't think it's fantastic. I think it needs a lot of work. We've been trying to update it.
It's awesome, Anna.
I'm-
It really is. Trust me, come look at ours. You'll see the difference.
I'm gonna check out Anna Witten's now, though. I want to see what her Meet the Resident page looks like. I love looking at those pages, going to other people's departments and just looking at their, you know, a day in the life of a resident or whatever.
Well, you mentioned earlier how some of your faculty are like, look at the videos on these websites. Look at
Yeah.
Mine were like that for years and years, and the department finally approved to get a professional video.
Oh, good.
But yeah, it was like a 5-year goal.
Yeah, it takes so much time.
Mhm. And then you have to find people that want to be in the videos, that are going to stick to the prompts or whatever you got going on. And it's like a full-time job, I feel. It's why I'm glad we have our communications person to help with that, so we don't have to do all that.
It's hard enough for me to update the website, never mind do video.
100% for sure. Because even now, I bet Anna's going through here going, oh, you know, because I keep looking, thinking, is there something we still need to change?
Yeah, it was just a couple weeks ago. I was like, oh, we should probably, you know, put our interview dates on there and pull off like the open houses, because those are all done. And I don't want people to be confused. There was still like a link to register. I'm like, I just don't think about it. It's not the top of my mind until I go look. And then I'm like, oh, that needs to be changed. But Sandra is super good about just changing it right away. So I never have to worry about it being wrong for like weeks because she's not getting back to us or something. Anything else, Dee, that we have on here that's helpful?
I can't think of anything specifically that I'm sure would be different than what anybody else has. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Nicole.
Okay, question. Do you guys get any vibe from residents, faculty, candidates, whoever, with the recent evolution of Twitter and X and Elon Musk, that is there any stigma attached to using Twitter, or is it still like urologists love Twitter and they just keep using it and it's all good? Does anyone get any vibes?
I just base it off our chair, because he's so active on Twitter. When all that happened, and I kind of heard a little bit about what you're talking about, and people were like, I'm not using it now. And they went to, what was the new thing they're going to now? What was it called? It's a new, like, they're saying it's going to be the new Twitter, and I don't remember what it was called, but I remember people were making accounts and trying to Threads. Yes, that's it. Thank you. And they're like, yeah, we're going to use Threads. We're not going to use Twitter. And then Dr. Nakata just keeps using Twitter. So I'm like, if he says it's okay, then I think it's okay for us too.
Okay, yeah, I kind of get that vibe too, that like, it's already so established. And like I said, I have 3 programs and urologists just love Twitter.
They
So
do.
that's kind of the thing.
And I don't know if med ed stuff, but I've never looked at Threads. Like I don't really even know what it looks like.
Yeah,
I assume
Catherine,
it's
tell
very
us about
similar.
Threads.
I have not used Threads myself. I feel like I'm kind of saturated on social media channels. But it seems like people like it based off of what I've heard.
I just feel like med ed is so popular and prominent on Twitter. I wonder if it would have a hard time transitioning to a completely different platform, which is why I think it never really took off on Instagram. We all have, our Instagram pages, but I just don't feel like it's the same conversational, academic, medical things that happen on Twitter. Like it's just Twitter is the only place that happens.
And so Anna, when you created your X account, formerly Twitter, they actually had like the Twitter professional and the regular Twitter, but none of us, I don't think any of us, my site, the Acure site, yours is the regular X site, right? It's not the
I think you have to
professional one.
pay. You have to pay
Yeah, I
money.
know. Nobody did it, right? Like none of you
Yeah.
guys is professional, right? Does anybody have the professional one? And all the med ed, like you said, every med ed site I've gone to is still the regular X. It's not the paid one.
I don't even know how
you
much
pay?
it is.
What do
I
you
don't
Does
know
get?
how much.
anybody pay for it? The
You
professional
get
one?
like, I guess you could do it. You get, let's see, premium. I
It
think
was
you
called like
just,
the professional, like professional X. It wasn't called, I don't know, maybe now they changed it to premium, maybe because of the name change, but
yeah.
it was called professional. And I'm like, I'm not paying for that.
It basically allows you to edit your posts
Okay.
and see less ads. And I think you get like like I say, a small boost in ranking. So like you can try to get like all like the, celebrities want it because their posts then like boost to the top.
Or you can pin yours if you want to do that.
Yeah, I feel like when I looked at it,
Mhm.
not that our department would pay for it. I mean, maybe they would if I went to them and said, I think we need the blue check mark on Twitter next to our name. I just don't think what you get for it is really going to help us anymore.
Okay. Yeah, I don't see anybody, like I said,
I
nobody's
agree.
using it, and I don't see MedEd using it either. No sites use it.
Yeah.
Not any of the industries or anybody. Okay.
And even like these big like journal, I don't know why I don't follow them yet, but Journal of Urology, they don't
No,
even
they
have
don't.
it.
No, that's what I mean. No, the MedEd sites do.
Yeah.
None of them, not the industry session guys, nobody.
They probably
Okay.
concluded what we did was that it's not worth it and we can get just as much traction without having the blue check mark.
It's like Amazon Prime. What do you really get for
Yeah.
Prime?
I just had to look to see if like anybody that I follow has a blue check mark, but I guess, yeah, some of them do.
Celebrities.
It looks like it. Yeah.
Does
like
somebody
it.
does have, but how about
Yeah.
anybody in urology?
So
Do they
like,
have it?
no, well, no, these are like celebrities.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like Anna was saying, people, yeah, movie stars and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Celebrities. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like they
That's-
almost get their accounts premium for free. Like, I don't know if that's true, but I feel like, especially when Twitter first happened, like the blue check mark was like the elite people. And I feel like Twitter just gave it to them so they could like make Twitter what it is now. And then now they're like, you have to pay, but I still feel like all these celebrities just get it to them for free.
What was that old song? You play the guitar, get your chicks for free. What was that song?
Yeah, Joe Walsh. Money
Yeah.
for nothing and your chicks for free.
That's right. Get your Twitter for free.
All right, anybody else have any cool things that they're doing that they want to share or talk about, or anything you want to talk about? Doesn't have to be related to this. this is just our chance to get together, and we have a little bit of time left here, so.
I'm curious how everybody's open houses went. I'm sorry, Nicole probably has a better one. Sorry, go on, Nicole.
We can come back to your open house question. There are, journal articles about how programs that use social media effectively match higher on their rank list. So if you look for the data, it's out there, and it's, residency program, GME programs. So this is really, for those of us who don't use it very often or very little, we really, especially, well, urology is pretty competitive, so we haven't had to use it. But some of my other programs that are less competitive, really need to optimize social media. So I just wanted to throw that plug in there, especially if you're trying to convince program directors or your institution to utilize this stuff.
So how did everybody's open houses go? We had a couple, they went fine.
Oh, hey Denise, I'm sorry, Shanoa had her hand up. I'm sorry.
Okay, I'm sorry.
It's okay, it's no problem. I was just gonna ask, I saw an email about the coordinator conference that's happening, and this will be the first time I go to that kind of conference, and so I wanted to know if anyone had more details, or if their registration's already open, or what I should know in signing up, or if I need to sign up for specific courses. And if anyone could give me a little more information.
So you're talking the SAU meeting this winter
Yes.
in Las Vegas? Okay. I sent in my registration and booked my flight and made my hotel arrangements just last week. But I've not been before either, but the plan right now, and Terry, jump in at any time, or Loranda, the plan right now is that the Acure group will have a session, a professional development session during the meeting on Saturday, I believe. Yep.
I think that's what we discussed, and that's how we've usually done it in the past. I'm also going this year. So I'll get to see you live and in person, Denise.
Yeah, I can't wait, Terry. I'm so excited. And yeah, we'll have a number of social events too. And so the Acure steering committee will be sending out information so that everybody can share telephone numbers, or we can have some sort of app that can keep us all, that's the word I'm looking for, because I'm not sure how these apps actually work, but can keep us all communicating while we're there. And then we'll plan some outings. And by outings, I guess probably.
I think it's the WhatsApp we used last year.
Yeah,
WhatsApp.
we're still all on the WhatsApp. That was
Okay.
from the last SAU.
Gotcha.
I think MJ set us all up on that. I don't know if she's coming now that she's kind of left full time.
Okay, thank you so much. That I'll try to get my registration in. I guess I'm a little behind the times. We're
Call them
almost
and
through
ask for a
September.
discount. Don't tell them you're associated with SAU. Tell them you heard that's where the mass shooting was. I got a $150 discount on my room.
What?
Yep. Because remember, that's that huge Mandalay Bay. That's where that country music mass shooting was.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
I forgot about that. That's terrible.
I
And
was like, oh,
amazing
are you offering
discount.
discounts for that? Yeah. My flight, my hotel, not associated with SAU at all. Because my department's not funding me this year. I got basically a $40 a night room.
And Shanoa, you're not too late. I think one year I registered in December. You got-
Okay,
I
perfect.
think the deadline is December 9th or something. I booked the flight and I took care of the room, but I didn't send in the registration yet because I figured I had time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
they had to confirm our registration as program managers and coordinators. Like they don't, like you click the button and then they confirm it. They don't send it. Right? Did
I don't
they do that for
remember.
you guys, Denise, Terry?
I don't remember that, but
Yeah, they like when I did it, the registration, it says, you know, I'm a coordinator. I'm not like a member. I'm the coordinator associated with the school. And they said, we'll confirm it and then get back to you.
well, I can confirm that I'm the member because we put our SAU dues on my credit card, so I'll confirm
I
it
don't
for
know.
them.
Yeah, I didn't know. They still haven't gotten back to me because I did the same time you did, Denise, my stuff, and haven't gotten an email back yet.
Oh, I got mine right away, Susan.
Oh, maybe
Yeah.
they don't like me.
Are you going on Thursday, Terry? Awesome.
Yes, I'm going on Thursday.
Okay.
Susan, I got the same message you did, and it was about 2 weeks later when they sent me the confirmation. So depending on when you did it, it might be a couple weeks.
Oh, wow, 2 weeks. Yeah, they're pretty small. I wonder if they're going to charge us for electrical outlets again, like they did last year. Do you guys remember? Did you guys in the main room, did you notice they didn't have the outlets and they had them blocked off? And they were going to charge everybody at the SAU conference. They were going to increase our rate because of the power. They only had power for the presentation. That's why everybody was putting their laptops and everything outside by the registration desk.
Wow.
I couldn't believe it.
Oh, yeah, Catherine has a message. I have to head to another meeting. Was wondering if anyone is lurking on the Euro applicant Discord. I took a look last week one day and I didn't see much of anything. Well, nothing that like concerned me, I guess.
What is that, Denise?
Well, I'll let
You don't
Catherine.
want to know.
Oh, God.
So Discord is a platform that originally has been used for streaming video games, but you can create different channels to chat. So it's just another way to chat with people and kind of monitor who's in the group chat. So there used to be a Google Doc where all of the applicants would spill their heart and soul talking about like their experience interviewing at different programs. And it felt kind of gossipy, reading it, but it was helpful as a coordinator to know what applicants were talking about or what they noticed. So they had moved that Google Doc to this Discord channel. And I logged in once and I felt kind of uncomfortable because I was like, this isn't a space for me. I felt like my presence was kind of compromising the integrity of the space because they should be able to talk without, someone from the program lurking. But it seemed like there was good information there. So I was just wondering if anyone has been lurking, if there's, what they're talking about on there.
I
looked last year, like in the, during actual recruitment, and after kind of match day, I looked because a lot of people were saying, how many programs they interviewed with and, all that kind of stuff. And I thought that was, again, interesting as a program. But it's just a bunch of people gossiping for the most part, but I haven't looked at it at all this year.
I feel like it's trash talking very much. And we recently, a resident here at our university, posted something on Reddit about our terrible parking situation here. And it was terrible. And it was the same thing. It was people just being completely ridiculous and unprofessional. And, why would you ever go to that podunk program? And it was really just, it kind of hurt to see that when you see your own institution up there and it's like, don't ever come here. This is just horrible.
Wow. I don't know if it's because my program's so small, but there definitely is some gossipy stuff on there. But I feel like last year, like I don't go to that site very often, maybe once or twice. And to Anna's point, I think some of the data is really valuable. Like candidates will put like how many interview offers they got and how many interview offers they received and how many programs they applied to. So there's data. And then I looked at like, University of Vermont, and by and large, what I saw there was pretty like factual, not too gossipy or trashy. I was like, okay, this is okay. So I think it's a mix.
Yeah.
And hopefully, I think to some degree, you have to rely on the candidates to be discerning. Like if they're like a smart, I guess with a high EQ, like if you have your act together, you know, they should know how to sift through some of this information and like, you know what I mean? So
Mhm.
I don't know. That might be giving them too much credit. I don't know.
The name and shame tab though. Oh, like match violations in there. That's bad.
There was one in there last year that was so terrible.
Oh my God, you guys are so making me want to check this out. It's gonna be heartbreaking / oh my God, I gotta look.
Well, I don't
It's like
think
a
it was your
bad
program,
reality
so.
TV show.
It sounds like it,
You
yeah.
can't stop looking at it, but you really want to.
Like a train
Yes.
wreck, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, it
it's
is.
a car crash. Yeah, for sure.
Is there any like heartbreaking stuff though? Like, is it gonna just be like sad that poor, oh, see, Catherine's nodding her head. I don't know if I can watch it then. I can't see. Like, I can't believe my dream is crushed.
Oh, yeah, it just sounds like some people genuinely had inappropriate questions asked or they were treated inappropriately, and that is disappointing to see.
You know what I found most disheartening about it all, though, was just like how unprofessional the people who are posting are, and how much I do not want that person as a resident in my program, because I would just be fearful that of how they would talk and post things. And
Well, like Nicole said, low EQ, right? That's bad for your business. Yeah.
Because if they're going to discuss it without votes.
Before we go, I did want to touch base on the open house, though someone else had brought it up. Do you all have high participation? Because typically we do, and we had 50 registered this year, but then only 4 actually showed up. And it might have been, we actually had to cancel, we got hit by a hurricane and it was the
Yeah.
night of the virtual open house. So we had to cancel it literally that day and reschedule to a new date like a week and a half later. And I'm sure that probably had something to do with it, but it was such a low participation. Just wondering if anyone else has experienced that.
I think ours was about 50% when I ran the numbers of who registered versus who actually showed up, which I feel like is kind of normal for us. We didn't have nearly 50 register. I think we had like 30 something, and then we had like half of them show up. So I don't feel like it's, I guess other programs, I don't know what happened to you guys, but I feel like that's kind of common.
And then a number of them didn't turn their cameras on, which I thought was kind of weird too.
Well, that's why I was kind of asking the questions. Like, we get our signals. I gotta look at that calendar behind me, but like, I'm wondering, like, they can still apply, right? Up until the 27th when we get the applications. Is that wrong?
That's correct.
So if you can wait till you get your signals, especially now they went from 5 to 30 signals, like, and we are such a high competitive specialty, urology, like waiting to even have an open house until you see how many signals you get. And I was just kind of curious what your experience kind of altogether was on that.
That
But
makes,
yeah.
no sense to me, because the purpose of having an open house is to show people what you're about so that they will be inclined to apply to your program. That's our, and on that note, our open house is tonight. We're a little late.
Good luck.
Yeah, I know.
You're not late. I think that's fine.
No, yeah.
Anybody else?
Okay.
Comments? Bueller? Somebody got 2 people got my reference. Say that to students and they look at me now. Like, what are you talking about, Miss Reno?
Yet they would go to Kohl's and buy a shirt that says Ferris Bueller on it.
Save, yeah, it says save
know?
Ferris on it. What does that
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Like, your parents did not raise you right. Yes. Yeah, I was just, it was just curious. I mean, with so much going on, the actual and being virtual now, virtual open house and asking residents and faculty to do it after hours, and with the signals changing and, getting like 300 applications for 3 spots, and then waiting to see if we get signals, then doing an open house, whether that interest is already high based on the Subeyes and the VISALO students. That's kind of where I was coming from. And I'm new to this, so that's kind of what my, I guess my angle is in asking the question.
I know we're kind of over time here. We had a urology interest group meeting, which is another thing we try to do to get students within our own institution, of course, interested in urology. And it was really a group of M1s, and one of our physicians was talking about, you know, like urology, applying for urology, what it means to be a urologist, the different subspecialties, the different practices, whatever. And then we had a Q&A at the end. And these are all M1s who have literally been here like, what, a month and a half? And two of them separately, when she said, do you have any questions about urology, raised their hand and said, tell me what signaling is. Like they were like freaked out almost. And so then we had to explain signaling is different for each specialty, blah, blah, blah. There's signaling that's specifically for other specialties in ARIS. For us, it's outside of ARIS. We have a different match and all of that. But I thought it was really interesting that they're so revved up about signaling. We were just kind of wondering, like, are they seeing things out on social media and that's why they're asking the question? But it was funny because it was just like two questions. They were just like, oh, tell me about signaling. So. All right. Thank you so much, Anna. And thank you guys for coming. And we will have a Zoom practice run next week. I'll send out a reminder to everybody. So the more the merrier, of course, because then anybody who wants a chance to kind of play around with moving into breakout rooms has people to move into breakout rooms. So hopefully we'll have a lot of our newer colleagues join us as well.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Anna.
guys.
You guys, that
Thank
was
you all.
awesome.
Yeah, thank you guys. Everybody
Thank
have
you.
a great remainder of the week and a good weekend.
See ya.
Take care.